Welcome everybody to the, what is it, July Sunflower State Libraries program. And this is a very, very special month because most of everybody is such in the thick of summer reading. So it's such a big ask to have today's guest come in because I'm sure she's busy with a million things and yet she made time for us. So thank you to our guest today. It's Pauline Stacchini. She tells me rhymes with zucchini, which that's helpful. I think I almost got it right. So thank you, our Emporia Public Library Director. Today, our presenter, or our guest, is ready to go with a whole presentation. So I pretty much just get to sit back and let her take it over. So why don't you go ahead and get your slides in the right place, Pauline, and say hello to today's guest. Remember, you can go ahead and put your questions into chat and we can interrupt her right in the middle of her talking. That's not a problem. Or, if I didn't say it, if you can use chat, but you can also unmute yourself. So thank you, Pauline, for being here. And we're excited to get started. Take it away.
All right, thank you for having me. Let's get started talking about the Emporia Public Library. I'm really glad to be here. I'm kicking this off with a little bit about myself. So my name is Pauline Stacchini. As Dan said, some interesting things to know about me is that I was born and raised in France. My father is French, my mother was American. And I moved to the States to go to college at St. John's College. If anybody knows Annapolis, it's right across the street from the Naval Academy, where I got a very, very useful Bachelor's of Arts in Philosophy. From there, I got my master's degree in Library and Information Science from the University of Iowa. I've worked in academic, medical, school, and public libraries, all of them. And most recently in Texas, I worked at the Dallas Public Library and the Austin Public Library. I'm an active member of the American Library Association. I just ended a term as a counselor at large, just a couple weeks ago. I was named an emerging leader and I facilitated the emerging leaders in 2019 and 2020. I didn't put this on the slide, but I'm also involved in KLA. I am the co-editor of your lovely KLA newsletter, which I hope everybody reads Kansas Libraries and thinks about submitting content sometime. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Emporia. These are approximate numbers, because if you check IMLS and if you check the data from the census, you're going to get all sorts of different numbers, but approximately 24,000 people live in Emporia, Kansas. Emporia is the county seat of Lyon County. We have 3 libraries outside of the Emporia Public Library in this county. We've got the North Lyon County District 1 Library in Allen. We've got the Americus Township Library, and then the El Mandaro Township Library located in Hartford, which took me a minute to figure that out. Emporia Public Library provides services to everyone throughout the county, but Emporia Public Library cards can be issued to anyone who lives in Kansas. We have a growing Latine population. About 1/3 of the folks who live here are primarily Spanish speakers, first or second generation immigrants from Spanish speaking countries of Central and South America. Emporia is geographically located on the I-35 corridor. That means we're between an hour and a half from all of the big cities around here. We've got a lot of manufacturing here. Interesting factoid is that our hostess plant is the only one that makes Twinkies. So I am on a personal mission to bring back Twinkie Day and see what we can make happen there. I would describe this city as rural. We have a lot of people who own farmland around the city. We are vibrant. This is something I've observed and the way that my staff have described Emporia to me. And when I think about the vibrancy of Emporia, I'm thinking about our Emporia Community Foundation hosts a match day every November. The Friends of the Library have been really lucky to be selected to participate, but they raised over $500,000 last year, not the Friends. All of the participants of the Emporia Community Foundation Match Day. So we have a lot of people who maybe don't have very high incomes but who are very generous and really believe in supporting all the good that happens in this community. We have an art community with Emporia First Fridays. The first Friday of every month, there's a walk through downtown, and different businesses will host artists right in their location, and people can just come and visit. We're also a place that hosts Gravel Unbound, formerly Dirty Kansas. Shouldn't call it that, probably. But Gravel Unbound happens here. We have the dynamic disc open and the glass blown open. So disc golf is a big part of the culture here. We've got Hot Events, which is the Hispanics of today and tomorrow, hosts lots of events like Dia de los Muertos or Cinco de Mayo. If Dia de los Niños were not so close to Cinco de Mayo, I think we would have made that partnership happen by now. But we are also a place that is growing. And so I bring that up before I talk about our Emporia Spanish speakers, because Emporia is a place that I would describe not just as vibrant, but also on the verge. We are the biggest city for quite a few miles in all directions, and people come from other places for our main street, for our events. And the people who live here want more amenities. We want more grocery stores. We want more restaurants. And in that way, we are growing. And with that growth, our Spanish speaking population is growing. And we have Leland Dan Mules, who is in town in charge of our Visit Emporia, who believes that we will be the first bilingual city, and not bilingual because our Spanish speakers will learn English, but bilingual because our English speakers will learn Spanish. So that's a really exciting community to be a part of. We are also the home of Flint Hills Tech College and Emporia State University. The library school is all remote now, but some of our staff members have graduated from there. And then we are a microcosm of everything that's happening in the States, everywhere, all the time. We're having those same infrastructure problems where we don't quite have strong enough pipes to support building new developments. We don't have enough houses, which has been an unpleasant firsthand experience. It is really hard to get childcare here too. So all of these things that are kind of plaguing everyone, workforce shortages, we've got those things too. Moving on. So a little snapshot of the Emporia Public Library. Here are some of the statistics from 2022 that we submitted to the state library. We see a good number of visitors. We've got decent circulation. Interlibrary loan is very popular here. And I don't want to say here as in Emporia, but I think here in Kansas, there's fewer libraries that are really big. And I'm really thankful that we have such a strong network between Kansas libraries that we can collect as a whole state almost to make sure we meet all of our patrons' needs. This is our beautiful building, if you're wondering. Who we are. Oh no. Here we go. Sorry. I'm still getting used to my phone. I'm trying to figure out how to mute the ringing sometimes. So who we are, I've put our mission there. This was actually taken on my very first day of work. I joined the staff for Staff Development Day. We went to the Lawrence Public Library for a tour of their facility to get ideas about what we should do next. And then we went to a breakout room, which my team definitely won before the time ran out. So not all of our staff is listed or is pictured here, but it is my last nice group picture. We've got 15 FTEs, so 10 of them are full-time staff members. The other 10 are part-timers. We hire students from Emporia State University and a couple retirees who are looking for work in their retirement time. We have a governing board made up of 8 members. We've got 1 Friends of the Library group, and we operate 7 days a week for about 53 hours every week. So let's talk a little bit about the space of the library. Pictured here is our beautiful Carnegie Library. Some things that people might know about the Emporia Public Library is that it is the oldest library in Kansas in continuous operation since 1869. That is an important qualification. Emporia is, or this library, this Carnegie Library as pictured here, is actually located right next door to our current building, and it is one of 2 Emporia Carnegie libraries. There was one built as the public library and one was built for the College of Emporia. It's also sometimes referred to as the Anderson Library. And in 1978, the Friends campaigned for us to get a new building, and that's what we sit in today. And that's this guy. So we're looking at about 44,000 square feet. We've got 2 floors, stairs, elevator. We are located at the intersection of 6th Avenue, which is US Highway 50, and Mechanic Street, which I have found out that every city in Kansas has a Mechanic Street, apparently. It seems that way. This is not factually based at all. Let me preface, this whole presentation is not factually based. Just kidding. We've got a children's area on our main floor with some technology available. We also have a story time room and we have very packed shelves. So coming soon, I am in talks with the city because they own the library building to remove the storytime room wall. Ever since COVID, we've moved all of our programming to our large main meeting room, which means our storytime room has been storage for almost 3 years now. I would like to remove that wall altogether and give that space back to our patrons. Right now, every seating opportunity in the children's room is child-sized. As a parent of a toddler, it is hard for me to get in and out of children-sized chairs, and I know our patrons are feeling uncomfortable. And especially with how many grandparents are the main caregivers here, I know they would really appreciate adult-sized seating, which is in the plan. That we also have media downstairs. We've got our meeting room and a beautiful atrium that was just redone. Upstairs is our adult area. We have 10 public-facing computers. They are not enclosed in any way. They are just out in the open across from our public services desk. We have a Kansas collection for now, working on determining whether that just needs to be nonfiction and instead we should highlight Kansas authors instead of just Kansas books. We've got lots of book study sets because we have a very active book clubs here. We have our fiction separated out by genre, and I've listed the genres out here on the slide. Those are the ones that we kind of highlight based on the interest of our patrons. Last but not least, we also have a young adult collection. It has become pretty reduced since I started here, and we are instead going to kind of focus on growing our graphic novel and manga collection. That is what sees better circulation for us, and I do think that is what folks are going to want to borrow going forward. Last but not least, we also have outdoor spaces such as a patio on the west side of our building and a courtyard that faces the street. We don't use our patio for any kind of programming. It is just truly an outdoor space for parents and their caregivers because it's off of our children's room. But we use our courtyard to program our summer kids concerts.
I have a quick question, Pauline, because
sure.
I just have to talk. So the atrium you said was redone, right? And that is where the skylight is. Is that correct? And which I believe, if I know the history a little bit, that has been maybe problematic. Has that been fixed? Is the atrium sealed?
It is.
No longer an issue? That's so great to hear.
Yes, I believe a lot of the contention around it was that it was only able to be addressed / repaired post-COVID, and when the library had been closed for so long, for patrons to feel like we can finally get back. Oh no, we can't go inside because there's huge drop claws and you can't access anything. So I think that was the cause of a lot of frustration, but we don't own the building and we are truly at the mercy of every contractor, which is everyone who's ever had a contractor knows. They're going to do things when they want to do things. I know we are never top priority, but it is fixed. Maybe in 2026, we can work on getting a mural up there because I think that would be a really cool, like, Sistine Chapel moment. But we'll see. That's like 3 years down the line. So some extras that we do, which I'm sure a lot of other libraries on this call today or who will watch the recording later also do. We have a fax machine, we have a scanner, we have microfilm computer, we have catalog computers, we have magazines. We also have a library of things. Oh, disco golf, wonderful. I was obviously not having enough coffee when I made this, but we do circulate disc golf kits because, again, Emporia is known for that. We are the home of dynamic discs. We're also exploring, and I say exploring as in, I just mentioned to my business manager, what do we think about circulating a bike repair kit? But we have Wichita Art Museum passes, STEM kits, memory kits, parachutes, not to jump out of a plane, but the fun child one. We've got outdoor book returns, DVDs, audiobooks, Libby through actually Northeast Kansas Library Services or agreement. We've got interlibrary loan. Of course, we are piloting patron-driven collection management. So they fill out a request for interlibrary loan, and if it's been published in 2022 or more recently, or we've gotten 2 requests for an item, we will just outright buy it for our collection. So we are experimenting with that. We are going to come together in August and see how it's been working so far. We implemented it in March. Coming soon, as blurrily pictured here, are some book lockers. So we are working on an MOU or lease or contract with the city of Emporia to install a book locker at our Peter Pan Park. So that is a park that has, you guessed it, a disc golf course. Also, it has a splash pad. It's got 2 playgrounds. There's an auditorium. There's just a lot going on. It's one of our most popular parks, and it's also embedded in a neighborhood. I know that not everyone is able to make it to the library, but they could walk to the book locker to get materials. And we want to serve those patrons who are on foot, and we also want to serve the students of, now I can't remember, Riverside Elementary, that is also right next door to the park, and Jones Early Childhood Development Center, which is also right next door to the park. So we're hoping to kind of expand the reach of the library.
Pauline, we had a question from our participants today, and it was about how you are tracking those patron-initiated collection development. Is it a spreadsheet? Do you have certain software? What's the story behind that?
Yes. So in order for patrons to request an interlibrary loan, for the most part, we try to guide them to our online form, which is through our catalog. They can either request an item, as in something that we already own, or they can say, don't see what you need, click here. And they fill out a short form with the title, author, what format they need it, and any kind of notes they might have about it. So if they request a DVD, DVD only, not Blu-ray, that kind of note field. That goes to our interlibrary loan librarian, and she's the one who kind of looks over to see, when was that published? Should I order it this way, or am I going to use the new procedure?
You might have already said this too. What's your ILS down in Emporia?
So we use Biblionics Apollo. So we're working with them. Is my nice way of saying we really want them to add a feature wherein once people put in that interlibrary loan request, it will appear on their My Account screen, because right now for the patron experience, they put it in and then they don't see it anymore until their hold is ready for pickup, or they get a mysterious letter in the mail that says, sorry, we couldn't find your item. So we're working on it. So let's talk a little bit about.
Sorry, we had one more question before we moved on. Just how that Wichita museum passes work. Can you just give us a little bit of insight on how that works?
So we have 2 Wichita Art Museum passes. They only check out for a week at a time, and they are family passes. So families will just come in, ask for one of the passes, we'll check it out to them, and they just present it at the Wichita Art Museum. I believe it gives them access to special exhibits.
And Darcy asked, did you have to pay for them, or is that some sort of agreement that you have that it is no cost?
We don't pay for them. I know Sandy's on the call. She'll probably be able to tell me if that's an NCKLS thing. I'll wait and see if she does.
No, we don't pay for them.
No,
Oh.
okay.
I got them in the mail.
They show up and you get to check them out. So people are able to take them for the week, and then they bring back a physical pass that you will then recirculate to the next folks.
Yep.
Okay. And are there any other limitations? You can just keep using that as long as that it's still a valid pass for the year.
It works for the whole year. It checks out for a week. It is not auto renewable.
Mhm.
You can't reserve it, I don't think. Man, y'all are really putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
This is an
Yeah.
excellent question for our Assistant Director of Access Services. I don't think I mentioned that we're hiring for that position right now. And I would be remiss to not mention it. I am recalling I got an envelope from the Wichita Art Museum. So I'm guessing my predecessor, Robin Newell, probably set up that partnership. She's done a lot of great things for this library, including, which I did not put on this slide, a wonderful electronic marquee that is located out front. So it's just got beautiful graphics. It tells everybody we're the Emporia Public Library. It has a running slideshow of all the programs that we do that are inviting patrons in. I see a 4 on the chat, but I don't know if that's another question or nope. Okay.
Nope. Darcy was just saying that they're trying to do something similar there. I'm guessing in Wamego with the Oz Museum. So I have not been to the Oz Museum, and I haven't even been to Wamego. So it sounds like a day trip. All right, let's move on.
All right. I've got just a little bit of time to talk about our work. So I've pictured here the library on the go. It's our version of a bookmobile, although I know they don't want to call it a bookmobile. It's not traditional. You don't climb on it to check out books, but rather we transport things out. A better descriptor is probably a pop-up library. So we have a staff member dedicated to our library on the go. She visits senior living facilities. She goes to farmers markets. We participate in parades. Today we had our Tuesdays in the park where we take it out to a park and we blow bubbles and tell a story and play music. She uses this van to supply the deposit libraries in the community at different laundromats, at Hopkins Manufacturing. And then it participates in booth events like the Dynamic Disc Open, Cinco de Mayo, etc. We have some signature programs that we do here too, and this is the perhaps legendary storybook tree that our youth coordinator has spent a long time, 22 years of service. She's retiring at the end of the summer. If y'all know Lori, say something nice. She has spent so much time putting together this beautiful tree that has miniature books and a matching figurine ornament. So I was fortunate enough to kind of greet kids as they were coming in for breakfast with Santa, and just seeing that moment of connection between the kids and their parents of, hey, I read Corduroy when I was your age. That was such a wonderful book. And the kids being like, which one is that? And they know Fly Guy and Curious George, but they might not know the old lady who swallowed a fly. So it's kind of a great cross section of experiences that we really draw out. We, of course, do lots of events for Kansas Reads to preschoolers, story times. We do a William Allen White Award Book Club. William Allen White is a big deal here in our community. This is the home of Red Rock, which is where he lived. Some other things that we do, so I'm keeping my eye on the time, is patron request programming. We had a Pokemon party here over spring break, all because the little boy featured in the black shirt with the little Pokemon pin wrote me a letter and asked if we would ever do a Pokemon trading event. Boy, we called him in. We said, what do you want to do? Let's do it all. And it was such a huge turnout. It was so great that we're now going to have a partnership with his elementary school to do like a junior Shark Tank every year. And they get to tell us what the program they want is. So really excited about that. We had our first meeting of our adult queer book club in June, and we're launching a new based on the book, watch it, read it type of thing this fall. And last but not least, we have fun here. We had an enormously popular Bluey party that really blew my socks off. As an attendee, I did not expect to see 300 people on a Friday night coming to our library. We have laser tag in the fall and winter, mad science events. We did a Star Wars breakout room in May. We're going to have a pool party at the end of summer. We had Un, Dos, Tres, Andres come and kick off our kids' concerts this year. Worm races, that's not my cup of tea for fun, but somebody likes them out there. But those are kind of the things that we do. And I believe that is my last slide. It is.
I have to ask what the Bluey party is.
Wait, do you know who Bluey is?
No, am I missing out something?
Well, I'm a toddler parent, so this is why I know what it is.
Okay. Okay.
Bluey is a cartoon blue healer. She and her
Oh.
sister Bingo and her parents live in Australia, and it's a very emotionally intelligent show. It will pull all your heartstrings.
Okay. And Jack has a way better question. Eric had to Google it too. Jack was asking about Reforma. Are you familiar with Reforma? Are you guys involved in that?
So I'm familiar with Reforma. I am not a member. We do have our library assistant over youth services, Gloria Jurado, who is a Reforma member, and I believe she is, I want to say she's the treasurer for Corazón de la Nación, which is like the Kansas chapter of Reforma here in Kansas.
Yes. And I think if you want more information about that, I know Jesse Harris, who's a co-consultant with me up here in Northeast Kansas. She's got information on Reforma. So if you are interested in that, I think she would be a good person to reach out to. So J Harris at nekls.org. If you're getting emails, it's all because of D Alexander at nekls.org. Any other questions as we, there we go. Anna put it into chat. Thanks, Anna Foote, another co-consultant. Well, it's really great to hear about all of this. I wish we could jump down the rabbit hole with you more, but I'm guessing we'll hear more great things about Emporia. As I know, conference season is coming upon us. Are you, and you're involved with KLA, obviously, are you going to be attending ARSL or the KLA conferences? Will we see you there?
You can find me at KLA if you have any questions about the jobs that I mentioned that are open on our website, emporialibrary.org/employment. You can always email me directly, director@emporialibrary.org. I will be attending KLA, but I will be sending other staff members to ARSL. Emporia Public Library is really fortunate to be able to support the professional development of our staff members who are truly the most important resource at the library, which I don't think I said when I talked about us, but they truly are.
Well, we were saving the best for last. So thank you. And you mentioned Lori, and Anna Foote said that Lori is great. And so if Lori is watching the recording, congratulations to you. Your book tree, I'm sure, will live on. What a great idea to expose people to all those titles. Yeah, it was really great to get to know you, and thank you so much for doing it. As we, like she said, if you have questions, she responded to my email. I can't say that everybody does that, so thanks to her for that. Next month, I do believe I have Amy Austin from the Beck Bookman Library in Holton, Kansas. I do not have a guest yet for the following month in September. So looking at you folks, some of you have been watching in the past. Drop me a line, be like Pauline and share, and then the recording can go out to people and they'll hear all the great things that you're doing, and they'll give you more money, and they'll give you more space in your building, I'm sure. And then I wanted to mention that October we do have a guest, and Ray Walling, the state librarian, has agreed to be on the program. So thank you all so much. We're hitting 2 o'clock right now, so I'll go ahead and send you off. Thanks for visiting.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.